Alright, okay, let's create a storage account in our Azure portal as we discussed earlier. So go to create resource, search for storage account, click this storage account, click create new resource group so we can delete it easily afterwards. Just call it DLCRG, click OK, call storage account name DLC storage account. Okay, so it should be all right, and you can saw this fine. And standard at this stage, the redundancy, we select local redundancy, click next, yes, we want public access, yes, next, and validation progress, and click create. Right, and the storage account is created. If you go to resource, now we have got this panel of all about the properties of our storage. As you can see, this is my storage account name we created. These are the storage types: data store, containers, file shares, queues, and table. So we will work on containers at this stage. So we'll be creating a blob container. We just call it data create. So at the moment we get this by default $log, and so this is our one. So if we click data, so this is a blob data container, and that means we can store any kind of files, any binary files, any text file, any images, any videos, anything we can upload to this one. I have created a few files in my C drive, so I just upload one of them. Right, so if I click upload and browse for files, so just say I upload this sample file, open, upload, so successfully uploaded. So if we click that, so at the moment we go to this file, so so you can see it is grayed out, so we should not be able to access any anonymous. Click OK. So if I click this file, you can see the properties of this file. You get you can download, you can delete, you can change tier. I will discuss this later. What is tier? Acquire lease, snapshots, edit. You can edit to see the file what's look like. You can see that you can edit the file. Go to overview again. Also you can access, so this is basically a object. This is basically an object we created in our storage account, and we can access this object via this unique URL. So every object in this data container will have a unique URL. If I click this and go to private and paste over there and enter, you can see that the public access is not permitted on the storage account. So if I go back again to fix this issue, so let's go to our storage account, and if we go to configuration, and in this one you can see the property should say allow blob anonymous access. Click enable and save it. successfully updated. So if we go back to our incognito window, so if I enter this or refresh it, right, so if we go back to our container again and check this and go to chain level access and try blob read only, click OK. Right, so if we go back to our data file again, click this again and copy this URL and try again. Yes, so now we can access the file. Okay, all right, now let's talk about access tiers in storage account. So if I give you a quick overview of so for example, you got a storage account and we have got a blob storage and a storage container and you got files in there. So in our last example, we have uploaded only one file, but a company can look towards millions of objects in a storage account. So this is one of the reason I'm giving an example how the cost work. So we got premium tier, hot tier, cool tier, archive tier. Premium tier we'll talk about later. So as you can see, data storage prices as pay as you go. First 50 terabytes a month, it will cost you in a hot tier that much, it will cost you in a cool tier that much. I will explain to you what is hot, cool, and archive. And in archive, same like next 450 terabyte will cost you this accordingly, and several like that. So if I just go to my other slide, right, so a company would want to monitor their storage cost, as this can especially be the case if the objects are not being used. So that's why they have to monitor the costs. You've got different tiers of storage like I explained before. So we got the storage account, we got blob storage, we got images in there. So like I can give an example of say a LinkedIn. So if you create a post and upload in LinkedIn, so people will watch like for a couple of days, and after 2 days it's not like kind of people are interested. So there's no point keeping it like accessible all the time. So and imagine there are millions of users uploading images and stuff in LinkedIn. So that's why and there's we have to move that images into a like different tiers, which I'll explain to you now. Same thing here, 1,000 images have been uploaded on a particular day. During the first week the images are being used regularly, just like the example I'll give you of LinkedIn. But after a week the images are not being accessed. So should they be paying the same cost? Of course not, because it's not being used. So if I give you, so what kind of access tiers do we have? So right, so we can use access tiers to help in this regard. So first one is by default, which is a hot tier. This means you can access object frequently at any time. Obviously this costs lots of money because you're accessing this images. Then you've got a cool tier. This is ideal for objects that are infrequently accessed. An object can be set to cool access tier. Here our object needs to be stored for a minimum of 30 days. So you can move your images or your files from hot to cool, and over here you have to keep this for 30 days. And if you've decided during these 30 days you want to go back to hot, it will cost a little bit. So obviously if you have got your data in cool tier, the storage costs are lower when compared with the hot access tier, but the access costs are higher. So there are two principles in storage account. Your charge, such as storage, how much you're keeping, and the access, how quickly you want to access, that's a different charge for that. So then we've got the third tier, which is cold. This is ideal for objects that are rarely accessed or modified, but you still need access to them. An object can be set to cool access tier, similar like that, but the archive period is more than 30 days, which is 90 days here. Obviously they are lower than cold because they are keeping it for 90 days. Then the last one is archives. This one, like, you don't need it for long time, you don't need to use it, so you store your data in archive tier. This is ideal for objects that are rarely accessed, and if you need to access them, you don't mind waiting for the data to be restored first. So for example, if you want to restore data from archive tier, there's a some time will be required, and so you need to rehydrate, and it will give you like maybe a day or maybe some time before you can access your archive images or files, whatever you uploaded. Is similar like in old days we used to have backup tapes, and we have to request the backup team, please, we need this data. So it used to take about 3-4 days. They had to find this data on the tape and then restore it, save it, and export it. But now it's a bit better now. Right, so what we'll do now in our we'll do a lab. Yep. Right, now let's talk about access tiers in our storage account. As we discussed earlier, that we've got hot, cool, cold, and archive access tiers. So if I go back to my configuration, and you can see the settings over here, you can change. As you can see that blob access tier at present is hot. If we click to cool, the changes estimated result in additional charges. So yes, save it. It's updating storage account. So if you go back to our containers, and you can see if we click this data and click to the individual files, so you can see the change here. The moment is cool, like we've changed from hot to cool, so you can change from hot to cool, cold arc if you want to. And also, say for example, if we click that individual file, we can, if you are in a cool, you can also download, but as soon as we change this to archive, we will not be able to download. So if I go back to change access tier level, as you can see, this already is a cool tier, like we change. Now if we change the access level from no sorry, my apologies, not access level, if we change the access tier level from cool to archive, and say setting access will take some time. Oh, sorry, will make your blob inaccessible until it's rehydrated, like I explained before. If I click save, right, so if I go refresh, it will change to it's already changed to archive tier. But the thing is that if you click this file now, the download is grayed out, so you're not able to download. To get back to that level so you can download again, you need to change the tier again. So if we click that access tier and change the tier again from archive to say hot. So like I said, it will take some time to do that. So see, the blob is currently rehydrating, it will take time. Right, so there's one more thing I want to tell you guys. So if you go back to storage account, and we have, if we look for life cycle, if we go data storage management, yeah, life cycle management. The reason I'm just telling you that, you might be thinking, Cash, how So do we have to do we have to go and look for every single file and then move to archive? No, so we can do a different way. So like for example, we can add a rule like, for example, if a file is not been accessed for that time period, or like for last 30 days or something, and then we can move this to archive file. If you see that, if I click a rule and just call any rule, just rule A, and apply the rule to all blobs, like I say, uh, all blobs, blob type, blobs, base blob, next, last modified. So we can put more than say 30 days, or like 10 days, or 2 days, whatever you want. So then you can add, and if it's more than 30 days you can delete if you want, or you can move it to cool storage or archive storage or anything you want. So that's the way we can do that. So yeah, so hope this is, you guys understood about that. Thank you. Right, now let's talk about data redundancy. Right, so at the moment, I'll show you again what is the options do we have for our high availability. So I just want to show you again. If we just click and search for storage account and click for storage account, click create, right, and just call it a name. And so yes, so for here, if you see that, if you see this, you got redundancy options. We've got one local redundant storage, so this is the lowest cost option. Then we got GRS, LRS, which is a geo redundant storage. Then we have got a zone redundant storage. Then we have a geo zone redundant storage. To explain to you better, I can show you a document. Right, so you can see that over here. This is a picture I've taken from Microsoft Storage SLAs. So basically we need to make sure our storage up and running in high availability. So uptime percentage 99.9, you can get service credit 10%, and so you got hot blobs in LRS, ZRS, GRS, and RAGRS write request. Right, so explaining to you what is the first one we discussed, LRS, which is local redundant storage. So basically, when you create a storage account, by default it will create, say for example, if you created a storage account ECUS, it will create 3 local copies of your storage account in the same data center. Right, then we have got a zone redundant storage. So what happens if the data center goes down? Then it says in name anyway, zone redundant, so that means different zones. As we know that in each zone we have got 3 data center minimum, and then say for example, one storage account is UK South, and then you have got another zone which is in UK West. Then you can have different zone. So what happens if a data center goes down? Then you don't have access to your objects. Here the data is replicated synchronously across 3 Azure available zones in the primary region. So you can see that in 3 availability zone, you have got, it will be replicating to your different availability zones in the same region. Then you have got geo for geo redundant storage. But what happens if the entire region goes down? Very rarely will happen, but in case this will happen, 3 copies of your data are made to a single physical location. So for example, this is your ECUS, you will have your 3 copies in your say like UK South. So you have 3 copies as based on LRS, and the same 3 copies on other region such as UK West or West US. and in the same data center, and have 3 copies in that region. So data is replicated to secondary region. Then we have a geo zone redundant storage. So this one again, the data is replicated synchronously across 3 availability zones. So like your 3 availability zones, say for example UK South or East US, and then try to understand this. Then in the second region, you will have 3 copies in the same data center in a different zone, but only in a local redundant storage. I hope this understands. Okay, and if I go back to again, so we understand that. So you got LRS, GRS, Z for zone, and just add G into the end, GRS. Thank you. Right, let's talk about file shares. In our previous discussion or lab, remember we created a container, blob container, in which we have uploaded file. If you see, remember that we upload this file and we can access this via a URL from that. But now we're going to be talking about a file share. File share means you can create a share of, like a share of files which can be accessed by multiple machines and multiple users. It is different from blob container that you cannot access by clicking a URL or something. I'll show an example now. So if we go to file share, create a file share, plus just call it data, name, call it data, and this is the maximum they're giving you iOS, which is input output like your system, which means your performance and the capacity. So you can also do backup. So if you click backup, but in our demo we don't want to backup, so uncheck that, review and create. So file storage created. So you can see the properties, connect, upload, refresh. So if I go to browse and click upload some files, so I'm gonna upload all these files. Open, upload, right? And so you can see this, all these files being uploaded. But if, just like I was showing you in blob container, if I click on a file, there's a URL there, but if we copy that and paste it here, so it's giving us error and all that, so we're not able to access, because this isn't the right way to access this file share. The right way to access this file share is click connect. So this basically, it will create a drive in our local file explorer, and we should be able to connect that way. So if we click connect, and depends on your operating system, if you have a Linux, Windows, Mac OS, you can use that. So in our case, we are using a Windows virtual machine. The drive letter will be assigned Z, and if we click show script, close that. So if I show script, sorry, my apologies, I just accidentally closed that. So no, sorry, I didn't close it. If I go to yes, so if I go to show script, which I done that, copy all that, and we search for Windows PowerShell and copy that, right click. So it's basically connecting to our file share we created in Azure. Click enter. So credential added successfully. You can see that it has created a Z drive. So if we just change directory to Z and do directory, so we can see all our files here. To see in a graphic, we go to our Explorer and click this PC, and you can see this is our file share from our Azure has been created. If we click that, you can see all our files over here. We can access also these files. So we successfully created this share which can be accessible by machines. Close that. Now I don't need this share, so if I delete it, net use the name of the drive and /delete. So yes, so it's deleted successfully. If I go back to my folder, sorry, File Explorer, you can see the file has been deleted. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's have a quick talk about Azure File Sync. So basically, like in my last lab, I showed you that we created a share and you can access from different machines, and different users can access from the machines. To make this process easy for like companies, so they want to access these files very frequently, so the Azure have got a service called Azure File Sync. So what you can do, like I said here, a company can choose to keep the files in Azure File Shares. So basically they will create a local server in their own premises, and they have a public endpoint which is connected to Azure File Services, which to Azure File Share, and can download these files. So instead of a machine keep going back and forth all the time to Azure portal, they can download all these frequently accessed file and with the Azure File Sync, and that can be cached onto the server, and this will make the file accessible much faster to clients that require the files. That's about it. So that make it very easy to access file locally. Yep, thank you. Now let's talk about queue data storage. As I discussed before and explained to you guys, that queue is a kind of storage, like between, it can help the components of two applications when they integrated to have a message together, so they can message each other and have a queue. So it's quite easy services. So for this exam purpose, I'll just quickly show you something. So we add an app queue, click OK. So as you can see that app queue is created. So if I click app queue and click a message, so this is just message one, okay. So you can see that this message one is created. We can create another message, two, and so it's simple. So we have created these messages, and it can communicate with the other queue for the other application. You can also dequeue message, yes, and you can also dequeue message, or you can clear queue that way. All this. So that's about it for the app queue. Thank you. Right, now the last one, let's talk about if we go back to our storage account, and we have discussed containers, file shares, queues, and the last one is tables. Like any structural relational data, we can create a table for it. So for example, we create a table and call it course table, called course, click OK. And if you go back to this table, sorry, to access this table, we need to go to our storage browser. So storage browser, as you can see all your blob containers, and you can see your file shares, you can see your queues and all that, and tables. So if you go to table, it's to work to add data onto tables, we need to add identity. So if we click add identity, and if you are from the SQL background, you need to understand when we created databases, we need to have a partition key. A partition key is like a what do you call it, a kind of container, or you can say that which can store all the properties of all the data related to that partition. When we search for it, it will find it. So I can give an example. For example, if I create, say for example, we are talking about this course module, and this course is about AZ-900, and there are different, and the category of this course is C01. So just say we can call it a partition, say a certification and the row key, we call it like C01. You can also create a course name, add property, call it course name, call it a course name, and it's a string, you can see that, and you can enter the property of we call it AZ-900. AZ-900 fundamentals, and insert. Then we can see that we have created a table with this, is with the partition key, row, and the course name. Thank you. Let's talk about the last chapter of this, which is Azure Premium. Azure Premium Storage Account. As you can see from the slide, your data is stored on high performance hardware by the use of solid state drives. They are very fast, so they are optimized for low latency. That means you can access data very quickly because they've got solid state drives. If your application need fast access to data, here you have high storage costs, obviously, because you're using solid state, and lower transaction costs when compared with normal account. These storage accounts are available for block blobs, page blobs, and file shares. Block blobs is like for your pictures, anything data, and page blobs is for like your virtual disks, and file shares, as you know, that you can access from virtual machines. So let's quickly create a premium account. So if we go to create a resource and search for storage account, click storage account, create a new, call it DLC premium. Okay, call it, and just call it DLC premium storage account. As you can see that we select premium over here, and we can have a selection of page blobs, file shares, and page blobs. So we choose block blobs, and also you can notice the redundancy is only 2, local RS and zone RS, so we don't have GRS and ZGRS. Click next, click next, click next, click next, click next, click next, and create. Let's come back when it's done. The right is created. So if you go back to our resource, and if you go, as you can see in data storage, we have got only containers. because we chose only blob, so there is no file share or there is no page blob, so we have to select from the beginning. So if you create a quick container there and call it premium data, click create and upload some files in there. So just select all of them. Just select first one, open, upload. As you can see that. So in this, if you notice, you cannot change the access tier to hot cool. It's not available for premium storage, so you just need to know that might be asked as a question. And so this is a fastest way of accessing data. I hope this video is informative for you guys, and looking forward to see you in a part 2 of this storage chapter, and for which we are doing for AZ-900. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Right, so we are doing an AZCopy tool. So I have just created an account. Let's wait. After its creation, we'll come back. Right, it's creating now. Okay, go to resource and just go to containers. So there's only one container there, and for this one, right, so in this chapter what we'll discuss using an AZCopy tool. AZCopy tool is a command line tool in which you can create containers, copy files to containers, just exactly the way we were doing in our Azure Storage Explorer. That was a third-party tool we downloaded. So okay, let's do it. So first of all, we have to download AZCopy tool. From here, I've already downloaded that. So all what you have to do, if I go to, I can show you where I've downloaded. So this is where I downloaded and extracted. So I just copied the exe and just copy it over to my AZCopy folder. I created a new folder. So what we'll do, we will use these two commands, and let me stretch this a little bit more. So, and we will one for AZCopy make. So this will create the container, and this will copy our text file. So let's to do this before, let's go to our storage account, and we need to have a token, SAS token, which is a where is it, shared access signature, SAS. So if you click that, I've already, so if you need that service, we can need only for blob. So unclick that, unclick that, unclick that, check this one, check this one, check this one. I'm just making it simple because this is a demo for our AZ-900 only. So it generates SAS connection string, and then we copy that. So in this command, so let's create a container called say just call it cache container, and so we copy this SAS token from here and paste it after SV before the inverted commas. Right click, paste. Right. Okay, we have to make sure this is your storage name, so which is already this one, and let's copy that and go to command prompt. So if you just type command prompt, one second, what's this? Okay, command prompt cmd and slash, we go to root and check for where we have got cd to AZCopy tab. So this is where our AZCopy exe. So if you just right click here, successfully created. So if you go back to our container, and you can see that cache container is created. So if you click that, there's nothing in there. So we need to upload some files. So just say we want to go to our some test files, which I have over here. Say I copy this file, just copy that, and so instead of AZCopy, this is a path folder, if you can see that. So this is the path folder, C storage data, and then the file name. So we do cache dot text. Did we also copy that SAS signature here or not? No, we didn't. Paste. No, actually, just copy this again. Where's this shared access token is here. Oh, let's copy from there anyway. Not from cache cleaner, we need to copy from here. Shares storage, so we just copy from here, the one we had this. So use existing one. Copy, and just copy after CV. Right click paste. Right, so now cache test just change also here. So source to destination, and the destination our also we change this to cache container, and copy this to our new file, which is cache.txt. Copy all that, copy, and just run a command. Yep, succeeded. So if you go back to our container and go to containers, go back to cache container, and you can see our file is uploaded. We click edit, and you can see this is a cache file. So successfully have used our AZCopy tool to create container and copy the files on our containers in our storage account. Let's see after in our next chapter. Right, let's talk about a different topic now, which is called private endpoint. Let me copy this quickly. So if I go to my subject and go to endpoint, Azure Endpoints, copy that, right. So let's say there's a requirement for an application hosted on Azure Virtual Machine to access a storage account. So this is your storage account, this is your virtual machine, and you want to have access to your storage account. As you know that you might have an app also here, and this is a public service, just like this public virtual machine. And as you know that normally we can access this machine via public IP address, but this is not a secure way to do that, and we cannot use public IP in production. So for this one we need to use private endpoints, or so as you can see, the storage accounts are accessible via internet, but they can be security requirements for a more secure and private communication between the virtual machine and the virtual storage account. So there are two methods we can use. Either we can use a virtual network service endpoint, or so this will help you to access your public service via your virtual network, or you can use a private endpoint. This will help to bring the public service virtually into your network, virtual network. This helps in private communication between resources in the virtual network and the storage account. Okay, let's do a demo on this so I can explain what is this. Right, if I refresh, so basically if you remember in our last lecture we downloaded this Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. So this is like a tool so you can access all your containers, file share, queues, and tables. So in this example, if I've already logged on with my Azure port login, so I can see my access and everything. So if I click to the thing is that before we can access this from our laptop machine. We enable that into, say for example, if I show you say for example, at the moment we cannot access that, so we're getting authentication error. But if I go to my Azure Storage and say I enable from all my networks, which is not a good idea to do that, and save it. Right, and refresh. So if I go back to refresh all again, right, so you can see that we can access that. But this is just for demo. It's not a good thing to do that because we cannot allow from all networks. So in this example we want to only accessible our storage account to a particular virtual network. So if we click that, save, and we can also allow our IP, so we can access this storage account from my Mac. So save this again. So if I go back to my Storage Explorer and refresh all, I should not be getting it. See, we're getting this storage error. To fix this, like we have discussed before, we can either use virtual network service endpoint or private endpoints. To do this, if you go to our network storage networking settings and enable from selected virtual networks already there, so we need to do some settings in our virtual machine from we are accessing that. So if I go to my virtual machine and go to our network, close that, and if I go to and service endpoints, so we need to add a service endpoint. Click service endpoint, and with this, in this case, we got a virtual micro storage, and right, so don't worry about that. So just we click add, oh sorry, as subnets default, and add. So this will create a service endpoint. If we refresh, yes, we can see that, and it's a default subnet. It's still updating. So right, so now it has done, succeeded. So we go to our storage again, and we add existing virtual network, and this is our subscription. And as you can see in our test virtual network is a test VMware1. So if you go back again, so you can see test VMware1 VNet, select, and the subnet we got default, click add. So we have successfully added that and save. So it is saving that. Now our virtual machine is directly connected to our storage account using endpoints. If you can see that, so service endpoints. So this is, if you go back to our Explorer again, refresh again, so we should be able to access that now. Yes, we can access it differently. So just to reiterate again, we have used a private endpoint to connect between a virtual machine, a different virtual machine in a different network, to our storage account. I hope this is informative for you guys. So now we have finished our storage module in AZ-900, and next we'll talk about databases. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and any question please write in the comments. Bye for now.